Thank you, Senator Hawley, and now Senator Hassan.
Thank you, Chair Cassidy and Ranking Member Sanders, for having this hearing. Thank you to the witnesses, not only for being here, but for your willingness to serve, and congratulations to you and your families. Before I get into my questions, I want to take a moment to address the federal government shutdown. While the topic of today's hearing is really important, right now Congress should be focused on working together to find a bipartisan path to reopen the federal government, restore critical services for people, and prevent healthcare premiums from doubling and keep millions of people from losing their healthcare coverage. And so while I look forward to hear more from our witnesses, I once again urge all of my colleagues to come together on a bipartisan basis to get this done for the American people. To all of the nominees, I'm going to start with a basic question, and we'll start with you, Mr. Meyer, and go right down the line. Here's the question that I have, and it's related to recent events. If directed by the President to take an action that would break the law, would you follow the law or follow the President's directive? Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, and good morning, Senator. I do not believe the President would require me or advise me to break the law, but I will always follow the law.
Thank you. I will suggest that you look at any number of the President's actions over the last few days, let alone the last 200-plus days he's been in office, and you might revise the first part of your answer. Mr. Murphy.
I agree with Mr. Mayor's remarks, but even if we received that, I would always apply the law. I would follow the law.
Thank you, Mr. Palmieri.
Thank you, Senator. Again, I don't believe the President would ask such a thing of me, but I will follow the law.
Thank you for your commitment to the law. Again, going right down the line, does following the law mean following what a court interprets the law to be, or is it whatever the President believes it to be? Mr. Mayor.
Well, the National Labor Relations Act has a long tradition of its own law. It follows.
Just generally, does the Chief Executive of the United States, does the Constitution say that the Chief Executive of the United States, the President, gets to decide what the law is, or does the Constitution say that there's a separate branch of government, the court system, the judicial system, that defines the law? What's the answer?
Well, ultimately, the Supreme Court decides what's the law.
Mr. Murphy.
That is correct. Excuse me. That is correct. It would be a Supreme Court decision.
And Mr. Palmieri.
The Supreme Court decides the law, but I will seek the advice of the Solicitor of Labor and any question I may have about the law.
Well, thank you for that. I will also suggest to you that in cases that don't go up to the Supreme Court, the courts actually have the final say, depending on where the litigation or the matter stops. To Mr. Murphy and Mr. Mayor, to my earlier point, in January, President Trump illegally removed NLRB board member Gwynne Wilcox from her position on the board. Do you agree with the President's illegal action? Mr. Murphy first.
Respectfully, Senator, I think that's a determination that's going to be made by the judiciary and probably by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's already indicated in a procedural ruling what they would do, but I have no independent.
Mr. Mayor.
I have no independent reason to know why the President removed former Chairman Wilcox, but that issue is being litigated right now.
So let's be clear. We're members of Congress here. We write laws. And in order for them to become law, they obviously need to get a majority in the Senate. They need to overcome a filibuster in most cases. But we write the laws, and they're supposed to be followed by the executive branch, by members of the NLRB, by officials at the Department of Labor. And the National Labor Relations Act, which was written by this body, clearly states that a board member cannot be removed except for neglect of duty or malfeasance in office. Do you agree with that standard? Do you agree that that's the law that is supposed to be followed? Mr. Mayor?
Senator, I agree that's what the law states. I know that President Trump has taken action.
With absolutely, I believe his rationale is simply she was appointed by the wrong political party. Mr. Murphy?
I'm not sure what his rationale was. It was a very, very summary statement, but his position is that he can just fire her at will, regardless of the reason. And
that contravenes the clear language that I just read to you.
Unless interpreted by the Supreme Court otherwise, and that's what we're waiting to find out.
So just Mr. Chair, for one last second, I'll submit my third question to Mr. Palmieri about the decline in manufacturing and what he would do to rebuild it for the record. But let's just be very clear. You all just told me you can't imagine the President of the United States directing you to do something that would violate the law, and yet you've just conceded that his firing of Gwynne Wilcox appears to have done that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.